All right, everyone, welcome back to Central Coast Disc Golf. This is Jim Palmeri's 50th American Flying Disc Open. We're at the Parma Town Disc Golf Course, just a few miles west of Rochester, New York. I'm your host, Nate Perkins, here with touring professional Randon Latta. How we doing, Randon?
We're doing great, Nate. Good to be back. It's a pleasure and excited to watch this round two unfold.
Yeah, we have two Masters eligible players on this DGPT Silver Series lead card here. Marty Hendel and Tony Ferro join Ezra Robinson and Matty O. Four very unique play styles here. Getting right into it, hole one, it's a par 4. You really only need about a 300-foot hyzer off the tee. You want to land somewhere near that short pad in the mulch, ideally. OB everywhere. You got to throw, again, over this OB creek. Basket is up here on this little hillside. Right in the middle of the pack as far as difficulty.
Welcome to the 2:55 tee time for the Jim Palmeri 50th American Flying Discs Open, presented by Dynamic Discs. Your lead card, currently sitting at 54 strokes, from St. Thomas, Canada, Martin Hendel!
Looks like Martin just goes with a mid-range off the tee, very slow and controlled to keep it in the middle. I'll be excited to see how him and Tony fare in this field, being some of the older guys, showing that age is only a number, really. Saw Matteo go with a forehand on this hole yesterday. I think he's opting to go backhand this time. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, a little bit of left to right wind today. The wind was up just a bit from round one, but it was still really calm out there. Conditions really improved, especially with the tee pads and the footing.
Also at 55 strokes, from Lawrenceville, Georgia, Ezra Robinson!
I think it's a really cool feature that they have a translator out there for sign language. I saw some of the comments and people really appreciated that, and it's something I hadn't seen before.
Ezra pushed this FX2 a little too straight yesterday, makes the correction. That's an ideal spot.
Rounding out the card, at 58 strokes, from Switzerland, please welcome Tony Ferro.
And Tony's actually been on the tour all year long. He left his job back in Switzerland, bought himself an RV, and came here to give the tour, give it a go. See what life is like out here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Wow. Yeah, it's been pretty cool to get to hang out and meet Tony. We've played a few rounds together this year, and he's an awesome guy. And those are 4 great drives to get this second round started.
We're just over 300 feet here for Martin. And big moment for Martin. He's certainly no stranger to the cameras. If you guys remember, Martin actually made the lead card at the 2021 USCGC during the final round.
Whoa. That tree couldn't have been more than 10 feet in front of him. And I wonder if it was an early release or if he just missed on his angle.
Yeah, it kind of looked like he was lining up a little left and definitely early out of the hand, but he was kind of in disbelief that he hit that tree. I mean, might have even saved him from finding OB left. And look at the touch on.
Oh, off the pole.
I mean, it's hard to really throw it like Matty O does. It's such a unique way that he brings the disc across.
Yeah, and Ezra, I'd say even fortunate to have not kicked further off that tree and throws a great upshot that takes a bit of an unfortunate kick off the rocks, but he's inside circle one.
Maybe thought it was a little left right there. Up and in for par though. No harm.
Yeah, first hole of the day. Should be able to shake that one off and forget about it real quick.
Tony gonna start things off with a bird. As is Matty O. He had a pretty hot front nine yesterday.
All right, we're here on hole 2. Wooded par 3 that measures 310 feet. Players are going to want to throw a flip-up hyzer that slows down in time because there is OB behind the basket. A lot of trees down here towards the end of the green that they can either get caught up on. And I'll be excited to see, how Tony and Martin fare compared to Matty O and Ezra. I think they all throw different styles and different bags, so should be cool to see.
Now look at Matty O just using the front third of that tee pad there.
Yeah, barely took a step. I wonder if he was throwing a faster disc. He didn't need that much power on it.
Yeah, he has been throwing that 9-speed there. Good shape there from Tony. Just doesn't quite sneak past the late Guardians. They're right out there at 50 feet. Oh, and this is pure.
Wow, it looks like he just got inside circle 1, and you can really see the difficulty of this hole. All these players have made that first initial corner, but those last trees really come into play.
Ezra using the height there, and yeah, it's really hard to sneak past those. Marty's was actually a little wider and ended up being the best of the 4.
Ezra's got to watch the speed on this one. As you see, it comes right up to the OB line, but it will stay safe. I know we talked about it in round 1 with the rain we had the night before, and the course is really dried up for this second round. And
yeah, do you feel like it was a big difference out there today on the tee pads?
yeah, I felt like it was a 180-degree difference. I mean, the tee pads, the club really worked hard on them all afternoon after the first round, and I believe pressure washed them and put some kind of acid down to take off the covering that the concrete was poured with, and they were a lot better today.
Wow. Look at that pause that Marty has. He just brings that putter down to his belt, and it's almost inverted, and he sits there and pauses for what seems like almost 2 seconds before he delivers it from up near his chest. It's really unique routine.
Yeah, and I love how it's nose up. It gives it a chance to rise into the chains and possibly even, get off the front of the cage and fold its way in there. So we see Ezra and Tony tapping in their pars. Looks like Mattio's looking to do the same thing with the sunglasses down by the nose. Martin taking the only birdie on the card there, and we get to hole 3. It's 440-foot par 3. It's definitely one of the longer ones on the course, being a par 3, and no real danger. The gap's pretty large coming out of off the tee pad, but we do have these trees on the right that you want to come in front of, and that last tree by the basket. You'll see a lot of these guys just throw a hyzer to avoid those trees on the right and stay within the fairway from the trees on the left.
Yeah, we've yet to see someone park this hole. Only a handful of people have even found circle 1. Marty getting that one to turn a bit too much. I think that could have been a fortunate tree keeping him from finding that rough over there.
Oh, this is a great shape on it if it gets the skip. Wow, look at that. He's going to curl up inside circle 1. That's a great drive on this hole. Just missing that last tree by a few feet. I mean, that was pristine.
I almost feel like that's instant bogey right there, kicking early left.
Yeah, it's definitely going to make it challenging. He's going to have to throw a very specific technical shot to give himself a chance to get up and down. Ezra ripped on this one. I wonder if he threw a slower speed disc to avoid going on that right side rough, and he will also give himself a chance for a birdie look.
Yeah, we saw him push that D2 straight yesterday. I think he stabled up there, and Tony putting up a prayer there with the forehand roller, and that actually puts him in another tight spot. He's going to have to draw this little putter in around this group of trees.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Showing
Pretty
the touch
shape.
there. Kind of patent pending and tucked off in those trees. Makes it look kind of easy. Martin throwing a similar angle and almost tosses it in.
All right, Ezra from 45 for his first birdie of the round. And that is just the third birdie of the day. This is actually playing as the third hardest hole in the course.
Mattio going to help those stats.
Yeah, birdie
that's
number
2
4.
days in a row, I believe, and that's an amazing hole to get. Kind of getting strokes on the entire field there.
That's right. He cashed that 70-footer yesterday. Single bogey there for Tony. Not too bad after hitting that tree and kicking off into a tough spot.
Yep, Marty taking his time to make sure he cleans up there, and we'll be moving on to hole 4.
All right, after 3 holes. Matty O leading the way at 2 under par. Scores are looking a little better than yesterday, and got some new names up there.
I'm asked all the time, why do you play disc golf so much? The best answer I can think about is, there's just something about disc golf. You might think it's just like any other sport, but I can promise you this is not the case. Disc golf is the walking nature, the closing of your computer, the discipline that it requires, that sound of those chains. I don't know what it is. The whole world should have the opportunity to try it. Let's grow the sport.
We come to hole 4. First, not the first par 4, but it is measuring at 815 feet. It's very long and straight, a little different than hole 1 where we had the OB creek and a lot of OB. This one lets you really open up a bit more off the tee, and even still you're going to have to throw a pretty long distance driver type shot coming into this green. Avoid the trees on the right, kind of spaced out a bit more on the left, but we got OB that wraps around the back and then on the whole left side of the fairway.
Yeah, and this is actually the second hardest hole on the course. A little surprising. You think that's due to the distance?
I think some of these trees down the fairway really make you want to throw a specific, tight, distance driver shot, and it can be very difficult because it's one of the first long open holes of the day and can just be hard to keep it in the center of the fairway.
Oh, nasty kick. Does that stay safe? It does.
And although those trees are very thin and short, they can cause some crazy redirections like that.
Look at that late flip there. That is classic Marty shot right there. He really relies on the understability of his discs. He's so in tune with getting a disc to hold over at the top of its flight. Even on a nose up shot, he can get it to drift.
Yeah, as Tony's shot was coming in there, it was looking great. Just caught one of those last trees and took a kick to the right, similar to Ezra's.
Matteo's probably 430 out. Kind of overcooks that one. Tony probably just over 400 here.
Got a full flight out of that one. It's going to leave him a little right of the green and have a couple trees to navigate. Ezra's got a nice gap here between these saplings and has this thing turning nicely. Going to leave him in circle 2.
Fun little spinner there. Like playing catch with your buddy in the backyard.
Tony's showing his forehand approach game.
Yeah, just tosses that frisbee back to him.
Yep.
All right, for the rare birdie. Oh. Just needed half a rotation more. That was Ezra's comeback there. And another hole where we're not seeing a lot of birdies. This was Only birdied 6 times during the second round.
Yeah, as we had mentioned on the first hole, the winds were a bit more today. There was a couple times where it definitely was a bit gusty, and looked like for our lead card it was pretty calm, but I wonder if that came into play for earlier cards in the day. Hole 5, another great par 4. It's not playing too long at 605 feet, but thick tree line on the left here you definitely want to stay out of. And the basket is tucked over here on the left. A couple bushes left of the green, right of the green, and demands a lot of touch and speed control coming into this green. Wow, Matty-O just showing you exactly what you'd like to do on this hole off the tee. There's 3 trees towards the end of the fairway that any drive that lands close to those or inside of those is a really good shot. And Ezra making the catch cam turnaround. He might be past these trees here and should have a very solid look at the green.
And if you guys want to go see some more Martin Hendel golf, go check out the 2022 Masters World Championship. Marty and Joe Revere battle it out. The final 9 holes is actually at Northwoods Black, and it is some high-level disc golf.
Dang, I might have to check that out. A couple of fellow Innova teammates.
Oh, great looking shape there from Tony. Get off that tree. It's always a little frustrating. He might have enough space to get a backhand in.
Martin's shot looked good. I wonder if it took the skip it needed, and we do see Tony here really pinched on this tree. Let's see what he can do with this. Oh, that's wonderful. Look at that,
Wow.
Nate.
Beautiful. Ground just hard enough to get that double skip and a little curl. Oh, and what a drive here. Just looking at the pin.
Had the height to go in almost. I wonder if that was even a thought in his head.
And Ezra even a little better. Is this A3 that he's throwing right here?
I'm not sure. It's A2
A2 or 3.
A3, yeah.
Mhm.
And I did make the mistake yesterday of correcting you. He does putt with PA1s, which are the more stable version of their
Okay.
putting putters. So I got that turned around.
Look at that. Nose up. Almost dropping that one in on Annie.
Wow. Circle 2, it looked like.
All right, Matty-O. 3 down through 5. Looking good.
Wow, and Tony and Ezra just absolutely parked this hole inside bullseye. I think we're going to have ourselves a star frame.
Yeah, in true European fashion, Tony's going to ring the chains there. Hole 6, par 4. Another semi-short one here. You really get to open up on this one. The OB kind of opens up on that left side of the fairway. And the closer you are to that OB line left, the better the angle that you have into this green. If you're anywhere on the right side, you're going to have to shape something around this wall of trees right here. This is certainly playing as one of the easier holes on this front 9.
Yeah, I don't expect these guys to have any difficulty with this, and with the tee pads being in much better shape today, they can really get after it. As we see Matteo just filleting a dead straight flex shot that gets him way out there and should be an ideal position to attack the green.
Steep hyzer on this D2, getting it to flip up. Nice ride. And yeah, 6 is playing as the easiest hole on the course.
And Martin there hanging that one out a little more left than the other guys, but that OB really kicks out there and he shouldn't have any issues.
Oh, good speed there from Tony. Impressive snap.
Nate, any idea what his bag looks like or what that disc possibly could be?
Oh, I know he throws a pretty healthy mixed bag. I see him throwing a lot of Innova. See him throwing some Infinite.
Yeah, as you can see, being more in the center there with those trees, you really got to fold something around those branches and a bit more demanding, but he makes it look good.
Look how flippy that thing is. He's had that in his bag for a while. I think it's a beat-in AVR, and it's just his type of golf. I feel like a lot of the field is kind of throwing stable, as Matteo is here, like with this harp. A lot of people using stability of their discs to control the distance, and Martin's still going with that old school understable style.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. It seems like everybody nowadays just wants to rip on something as hard as they can and let the disc hyzer.
Oh, just dropping it in when there's no wind like that. The pitch putt, too much fun.
Yeah, that was perfect, and that wasn't going anywhere past the basket. Even if he missed it, it was perfect speed.
Look at this, Randon, just dead calm. Oh, it was like there was no chance he was missing.
A little pause there at the belt line, little nose up. Beautiful catch by the basket, and we have 2 big putts already to finish out hole 6.
Yeah, he's 3 under through 6. Ezra's 3 under through 6. Matteo has that left to move to 4.
Yeah, it's a very solid start from our lead card here through 6. As we kind of saw yesterday, the back 9 seems to be a bit more scoreable, but you hardly know that watching these guys.
Tony, the lone player, ringing the chains once again. All right, and after 6 holes, yeah, Matteo 4 down, Martin, Ezra 3, Lucas Hess, Jake Wolf, Calvin Caldwell, Ethan Hine. All right, moving into hole number 7, 350 feet, couple of daunting fairway trees right here in the middle. Ideally, you fly right through here where the drone's headed. There is OB straight right, and it's really everywhere. Just OB everywhere. If you don't pure this, there's a good chance you're finding some OB, and including OB deep.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that makes this course really fun is it's very scoreable, but there's also a lot of danger out here if you happen to get a bad tree kick or just miss your line by a couple feet. Matteo has this nose up nicely and it's going to squeak through these branches and put himself on circle's edge with a birdie look.
Sharp angle. Oh, that disc is stable. Go, go. Chill.
No way. I tried everything it could to slow down, even bouncing off the post there. And
That's such a pure shot. How unfortunate to find OB deep. and nearly identical.
Wow.
Just a bit slower, and he's in the bullseye.
That was a perfect shot. I mean, you have to flex something down there and just miss some of those last trees and slow down. Although this hole is downhill, you hardly see anyone go long like Ezra has, and Tony's also going to put himself circle's edge, maybe a few saplings in the way, but has a birdie look.
Man's feeling it.
Yeah, it's a first down. He was running that one in halfway there. Just like that, Matteo is 5 down through 7. That's just a great comebacker after throwing a really good drive, and just a little bit unfortunate that it got long there, OB, and Tony splashing out on the right. Martin with the best drive of the group, making the hole look easy, and I have 2 birdies on this card, and have a little walk across the bridge to hole 8 now.
Oh, I wanted to know. I wasn't sure what he threw. Feel like it's a rock. He likes to throw those old school KC rocks. All right, second easiest hole on the course, hole 8, just 255 feet. Basket on this little hillside here, little OB deep. A lot of forehands attempted here. Might even see Hendel go with a little quick flip roller. Oh, that's clean. And it sticks.
Wow.
Hot start for Orum.
I'd say only about 50% of those forehands that come in with that speed actually stick on this green, and we do see Martin go with a backhand roller. Oh, and it's just going to go a bit long and find the OB.
And yesterday, Ezra actually went deep with the 9 speed and going a bit slower today.
Yeah, Tony showing he's also got a forehand, and that one also sticks on the hill, and gonna have 3 great chances for birdies here.
Martin from the edge of the circle for par. Oh. And that's actually going to be his first bogey of the tournament, Randon.
On the easiest hole. That's got to be a bit frustrating and impressive at the same time. There we go.
Mario, 6 down through 8. This card is looking good.
Yeah, as we move on to hole 9, 460-foot par 3. This one takes, a really big drive. You either gotta flex something or maybe even see a roller. So it has some trees on the left here that aren't too hard to avoid. This one in the middle, the drone's flying past. Then get down here and it starts to go a bit downhill, and you want to hopefully get a skip, but not too far because there is OB long. We saw Ezra yesterday throw it close to circle's edge and just chained out, and I don't believe there was any birdies on this hole yesterday.
Yep, no birdies yesterday. It's a rip. Wow, that's a rare worm burner there. Don't hear himself call himself Matthew too often.
No, it's usually not a good sign, but kind of laughs it off. It was almost so bad he can forget about it.
Look at that flip. That's under the ceiling. Needs some ground play. Doesn't get a lot of it, but still 40-footer for birdie.
Yeah, and that's the tricky part. When you throw a flex shot like that, it tends to pan to, flat to the ground, and it's hard to keep the nose angle up and get a bit of a skip out of it. Tony throwing a roller here. It's just losing its cut. It's going to roll into the grass on the right and hopefully not go in there too far.
Hey, Martin's lining up the roller as well. Hits this one with a bit more cut.
Wow, this looks very impressive.
And it's curling.
It's curling, Nate.
Into the bullseye. Unbelievable shot right there. 12-speed roller, 460 feet.
That was incredible. I mean, this is what I was hoping to see is, Maddie and Ezra going big air shots and these older guys throwing down the rollers and showing how much technique and skill they really have.
Matty O's going to have a 60-footer to avoid back-to-back bogeys here on hole 9.
Yeah, as we saw yesterday, had a bit of a chain out. And hopefully give this one a good bid and capitalize off of what was a pretty errant tee shot. Not a bad bid. Had plenty of height, 60 plus feet out, and Ezra. Another chance to birdie this hole. He had a great look at it yesterday and just leaves it a bit short.
Oh, and getting the top of the cage there. And Marty yet to putt. And Marty's just going to be the 4th birdie of the day. Manabu, we saw him attempt that roller yesterday. He threw that 8-7 successfully today for the Circle 1 birdie. Zachary Nash and Drew Sodergren from San Diego. Didn't even know he was playing.
Yeah, those are 4 just great birdies on one of the hardest holes on the course, and I believe it's the longest par 3 on the course.
All right, our card's looking pretty good. Ezra kept it clean, 4 down on the front. That bogey slows Matty O down a bit. He shoots 5. Marty also shooting 4 down with that bogey there on 8. And Tony Ferro 3 down with the bogey. And taking a look at our leaderboard here, Matty O, Martin Hendel tied at the top, just 1 in front of Ezra. They're kind of leaving the rest of the field behind nearly midway through this tournament. Thank you so much for joining us here on Central Coast Disc Golf. Randon, thanks again for taking time out of your evening to come commentate the action with me.
Yeah, no problem, Nate. It's been a pleasure.
We will see you guys soon for part 2 from round 2 here in Rochester.